As Russia and Ukraine wage war, a growing geopolitical crisis threatens the international order. China is watching the world's reaction to Russia's invasion of Ukraine to plan an attack on Taiwan. The international community is likewise getting increasingly unprepared to handle a charge today. US FBI Director Christopher Wray told his UK counterpart in London in July that China is taking defensive steps to shield its economy from future sanctions. Wray called China's actions a clue to their intentions. After Wray, US CIA Director Bill Burns said that China is learning from Russia's invasion about decisive or overwhelming force, and how and when to act on Taiwan. Complete reunification of our country must be realized, and it can, without doubt, be realized, said Chinese leader Xi Jinping in his opening remarks at the 20th National Congress of the Chinese Communist Party. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken later observed that China's Taiwan intentions had quickened and that action could happen sooner than predicted. The crisis in Ukraine, including Putin's nuclear saber rattling, and global economic concerns, have overshadowed Wray, Blinken, Burns, and Xi's words. China is watching how the world responds to the situation, which is the main link between the Russian invasion of Ukraine and the probable Chinese invasion of Taiwan. They're looking at Russia's sanctions, particularly energy carve-outs, and how united the world is in reaction. The US and its allies have responded to Ukraine with financial sanctions and weaponry deliveries. Sanctions have separated Russia from the international financial sector, but how they might affect China is unknown. China is so enmeshed in the global economy that strong penalties will punish the punishing countries. The Russian invasion of Ukraine has affected global oil markets and food supplies, but a US-China military conflict would considerably impact the worldwide economy. A Chinese invasion of Taiwan would dwarf our current supply chain concerns. Attack would destabilize the world economy because Taiwan controls over 20% of the semiconductor sector. China might defend its currency valuations by requiring importers and exporters to use yuan instead of dollars. Its coercive strength could minimize economic implications from their smaller ASEAN neighbors and economically dependent countries in Africa and South America. China has global economic dominance, while Russia controls European energy. China also observes the UN Security Council's inability to police member nations' poor behavior. Is China too powerful to sanction and punish for invading Taiwan? Taiwan and the US have no defense treaty. The 1979 Taiwan Relations Act created strategic ambiguity by avoiding a direct commitment to support Taiwan. Since its implementation, the US and China have skirted this opacity. The Trump administration sold $5 billion in armaments to Taiwan to fight Chinese military intimidation, raising tensions. The Trump administration passed the Taiwan Travel Act, which authorized high-level US delegations to visit Taiwan. Chinese military aircraft fly into Taiwanese airspace before and after these visits, which worries them. Tensions remain under Biden. Due to presidential gaffes reaffirming the US's defense of Taiwan, tensions have increased. China held large-scale military exercises in August as U.S. House Majority Leader Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan, signaling Taipei and Washington. Distracted superpower? Xi doesn't have to worry about elections like Joe Biden. Biden is polling considerably behind historical averages for U.S. presidents at the same stage in their terms, and state and cultural divisions are growing. No matter who is president in 2024, the Taiwan problem will remain. If China invades Taiwan, will the American public back it? If the two major superpowers are on the brink of war, the stakes will be far higher than if over 50% of Americans support defending Taiwan from an invasion. Even though Europe has united against Russia, if China invades Taiwan, Europeans are unlikely to financially and militarily support it. Europeans are experiencing war firsthand due to the Ukraine incursion. Would an increasingly fractured European Union be willing to sacrifice its financial interests with its major trading partner for a conflict thousands of miles away? Xinjiang's alleged genocide hasn't slowed Sino-European trade. China also sees U.S. allies like India, Israel, and the Gulf states hedging on Ukraine. This makes a global response to a Taiwan invasion unlikely. The U.S. and its Asian allies, Japan, South Korea, and Australia, would lead a response to a Taiwan invasion. Japan and South Korea have defense treaties with the U.S., have extensive economic links with China, and would strongly oppose a military clash. While managing the Ukraine problem, the U.S. and its allies must prepare for all possibilities, including an invasion. The diplomatic problem is to not escalate tensions with China while demonstrating to them the consequences of acting on Taiwan. The U.S. has done a good job of mobilizing the world against the Russian invasion, but has it taught China that the costs of unifying China would outweigh the benefits? Global and domestic factors. Domestic and global circumstances will determine whether China invades Taiwan. Xi's populace grew more dissatisfied with the zero-COVID policy and lockdowns during the summer. In 2022, experts expect China's GDP growth to drop below 3%. An invasion of Taiwan might serve as a nationalist call to action, distracting from the fundamental economic issues the country would certainly confront in the coming years. Chinese nationalist Xi views Taiwan solely from a territorial and sovereignty perspective. Unifying China is the ultimate accomplishment. Xi's calculations depend on his military confidence. U.S. defense leaders believe China's military expansion allows them to invade Taiwan. However, Xi does not want a humiliating defeat at the hands of the U.S. to expose the fraudulence of his military in the Communist Party and possibly damage his legacy. Invading Taiwan is risky, and Xi may not be as brave as Putin. Xi may see a once-in-a-generation opportunity to realign Asia's predominance away from the U.S. and eventually unify China. What would happen if China invaded Taiwan? Can the world community see through its crises and prepare for a bigger one? What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoy this video and want to hear from me again, hit that subscribe button before you go. Thanks for watching.